Alola! I'm the official name rater. My job is to look over the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today, we're looking at Sandygast and Palossand. Actually, one of my favorite Alola Pokemon, and I just think the design and concept of it is kind of neat and cool. It also makes you really kind of sad that they didn't have the brain cells to think of a treasure chest Pokemon in the area about, beaches and sand, and instead they put it in Spain where they fucked it up and ruined it and gave it an evolution that nobody really likes. Pokemon seems to always be one step behind for good ideas. They should have put Corsola in Alola, they should have put a treasure chest Pokemon in Alola. Instead, they fucked it up. I don't know what the fuck that stupid face and joke is even supposed to be, but okay, Necropolis I'm okay with. Alternatively, if you want to, because I don't know, I just think of Mortal Kombat. If you want to go Crypt, spelled with a K, to make it extra Mortal Kombat-esque, there's another idea for you that could work if you feel the need. Another easy one, I guess. It's fun. I don't remember any of this. This didn't exist when I originally did the Alola Name Rater stuff by myself. But castles as a theme could work as well. Like, if you wanted to name it after a specific castle, that could work. Location-based nicknames are fine. Okay, I don't particularly care for Palossand. I like the joke. It's fine, it's there, but it's only fair to compare it to other jokes like, we'll say, SpongeBob, or... I mean, that's the main one I can think of where people try... I guess King of the Hill is just not as memey as SpongeBob is, so it's a little less cringe, but all the same, it's not particularly one I'd go for. And then Sandra, that's the kind of shit I expect to see the Tumblr idiot come up with. There's some words I haven't had to say in a while. And then for whatever reason, Litterbox. I wouldn't use that either, but alright man, you do you. Quicksand, I'm totally fine with that as a nickname idea. The problem is Sandygast is very, very slow of a Pokemon. And I would also like to take this minute to say, we need to spice up our fucking Pokemon types already. I'm so tired of every single ground type being pathetically slow and insanely bulky. It makes me appreciate Nidoking that much more because he's a fast ground type with good offensive stats and all around well-rounded defenses. Like, he's fast, he's just good, and he breaks that stereotype. Another example of this you could say is Garchomp, but Garchomp's a pseudo-legendary, so he doesn't count. I suppose Flygon's another good example as well, but man, I'm so fucking tired of it, because here in Paldea, I was like, oh, I want to use a ground type, and all of them are the same fucking thing. They're all pathetically slow, but insanely bulky, and I'm just so tired of that. But Quicksand's a good name. I just don't know if I would, like, again, I get it, sand, but he's slow, so it doesn't work. Unless you want to get him Trick Room. Put him in Trick Room team. Then he'll become Quicksand. I'm only going to acknowledge Tempest because I feel like it's been brought up in previous episodes. That's like generic. I want to say water type nickname. It's supposed to mean a tropical storm or some shit, if I remember right. Banshee, another one. I think I had that as my name for Miss Drevis, Miss Magius, back before I started this channel, and then I switched that to Teehee from Banjo-Kazooie. But Banshee, it's an alright name. You could throw on some ghost types. Gastaway is a nice little play on words right there. I like that one. Limbo is one I have written down, mostly for Banjo-Kazooie purposes, because Limbo is the name of the little skeleton monsters, but, not bad. I suppose you could work for ghost or dark types. I suppose we can acknowledge Bermuda for the sake of the Bermuda Triangle. Location-based nicknames are fine, ghost type. Gotta be honest, this little, definitely not a bot, but resembling bot-like qualities, actually has some halfway decent suggestions. Abyss is a nice generic name you could use, Bayonetta style, Binding of Isaac style, also in reference to a TNA wrestler, probably one of the best known TNA wrestlers in my opinion. Sandman, I use that one for Hypno, because hello, go to sleep, Mr. Sandman. But I don't necessarily have a problem with it for Sandygast. I think it would work just as well. You know what? I actually really like this. This isn't about the nickname, but rather the origin of its shiny form, which is a nice thing to tie in with the fact that it's found at Akala Island, which is where Sandygast is found, and it has a volcano. Neat little touch. I like that. I like when the shiny forms get creative. I'm only going to acknowledge Cape Cod for the sake of location-based nicknames and moving on. To be honest, I don't remember Canalet Castle. I'm also not the most familiar with the 2D Zeldas, so didn't really jump out at me. But hey, on the subject of you could name after a real life castle, you could also name after a fictional castle if there's one you can think of. I hate that after hitting the next button, I look at the word Candlelit Castle and I think to myself, oh, you could just name it Hyrule. It could just be Hyrule Castle. If it's a girl, you can name it the Pale Lady. I only now, after skimming past it, understand what he's going for. Nice play on words. Or Rook. I actually like that one because Castle's chess. That's a clever one. I like that. Okay. I've played Shovel Knight once, and I technically still haven't beaten it yet. I got to the last level and was like, wow, I really just don't have the patience for this. So at some point, I gotta restart Shovel Knight. I don't recognize this, but sure, Shovel Knight reference if you can go with that direction, because it got the shovel. I want to real quick highlight this for being insanely cringe real quick, because I'm not sure what his sense of humor is, but it's all over the place. Hot dog, like, that's fine, that's reasonable, but the further you get into this, the more unhinged it becomes. Like, so far, everything's alright. And then it starts devolving. Lizard duck. Naruto punching frog. That's not gonna fit. You didn't even spell polyrath right. Crab guy. Stripper. MILF. I don't know how Oddish is a stripper, personally. How? Tell me how. Terrorist. Rock ball turtle. And he's got somewhere he's like, oh, look at the picture below, you'll understand. And it's like, okay, that I see the joke there. You could give that to anyone that has the hail move. Bitch. Bitch became confused. Why Wingle? What does that have to do with anything? Admittedly, I kind of like Legos for Stack Attack. I think that's better than just Lego guy. And then, like, it just evolves. Spoon guy instead of Spoon man. You know, the song. I can understand. I guess you probably wouldn't know that. Cracked eggs. Just describing it. Blonde whore. That's so funny. You're hilarious. Bro! What? See, Sandy Cheeks, I don't know. It just never fucking does it for me. Okay, we reached the bottom, and I gotta be honest, I was really surprised with how much different directions you can go in this. Like, it's pretty creative. I really don't remember this, and I don't know if I ever actually looked this up because I already had a nickname for myself planned out from the very, very beginning. The spreadsheet doesn't have anything, but we do have one suggestion, which was slightly hinted at earlier. Castlevania, because Haunted Castle. And we talked about castles, that motif, and you know the idea of video game castles. Doesn't get any more iconic than Castlevania, and I really, really like that one and think that's a really, really strong one. As far as stuff we saw in the episode, I mean, I didn't write anything down, but I did feel like there was a lot of different directions you could take it with the idea of castles being, you know, a primary thing, and also just some generic ghost or ground nicknames provided here. The one I personally use, I'll be honest, is not the strongest, and I don't give a shit, but it's for me, it's my own sentimental thing. I'm gonna name mine Gelato after Gelato Beach in Super Mario Sunshine, where the first level, you know, you make the sandcastle pop up with the little spray buds and stuff like that. And that just always stuck out to me and was always an iconic thing. So when I first saw it, when they revealed it, I was like, yep, Gelato Beach. Done. That's it. Gelato literally translates to ice cream in Italian. Gelato is also just a thing I would assume most people know in English as well, so it might get lost, and that's fine. It's not one I would personally recommend to anyone, but it's what I use because Mario Sunshine, and that's that. So, any other ideas and suggestions you have, feel free to put in the comments below. Give a thumbs up to the ones you think are good. Eat ice cream, not sand. Sand is not food. I gotta end this episode real quick because I'm waiting for my food to be delivered.